Amen. Christ is in our midst. The Beatitudes, as we always read for these hierarchs, these venerable ones, it says, are they're the law of God is what they are. And it's hard sometimes in the world because we want to see things. We want to see the fulfillment of all of our hopes, whatever those hopes might be, and we want to see the wicked come to justice, and we want to see the just get their reward, and we want to see all children be happy, and we want to see all the elderly able to pass away in peace and harmony, and we so rarely see any of those things. And so much so that it's a cause for great rejoicing when we see the. Sometimes the Lord gives us a little bit of a taste, but then He always also lets us continue to grow old and be humbled. And that's absolutely necessary for our salvation. So then we always have these Beatitudes to turn to and to draw great comfort from. It's we read these this gospel for the venerable ones, but there may not have been too many venerable ones who were more worthy of some of those words than Saint Nectarios, who was persecuted by his fellow clergy. And this is something that happens in the church. It's been happening from the beginning. And it shouldn't astound us or discourage us, or even though it does, it's very discouraging sometimes. But it shouldn't surprise us. It's hard to live through it. It's hard to see it happen. But it really shouldn't surprise us because people are still people. And the priest is not a liar when he comes out and calls himself the chief among sinners, and neither was St. Paul when he coined the phrase. And so we should expect to see strife and sinful behavior, even though it's disappointing to see it happening within the church. But the truth is, we should even expect to be more stung and to see more sinfulness in the church, because that's where people go who need healing. And nobody is immune until they're dead. And throughout my whole life, I've seen it. And every time somebody else passes away, a bishop or a priest or something, there's always going to be somebody out there that remembers that time that guy did that thing to those people that he loved. And that's just the way it is. But in Saint Nectarios, we have an example of someone who was known for the ill treatment he received from bishops. And sometimes when we look at situations like this and we wonder why is God allowed to happen? Well, now that Saint Nectarios is among the heavenly choir in the church triumphant, we know that those of us who may have seen such things or even experienced such things at the hands of people in the church that you might have thought you'd be safe from, can look to Saint Nectarios and know that, first of all, he's a saint for enduring just those things, and for being steadfast, not bitter, not filled with hatred or recrimination or a sense of his own justice. Because while it is wonderful to see the wicked punished, it's also fearful. And all of us should remember that we don't actually, if we're honest with ourselves, want justice from God for the things that we've done. We would like mercy instead. And amongst the Beatitudes we see, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. And we should the hardest kind of merciful is not the mercy that we think of when we think of a magnanimous king for whom it might be easy to be merciful. The mercy comes from those who've been wronged. The mercy of not wanting to see that person endure the punishment that we feel they might, that we fear. We should fear that they might deserve. In that moment where we recognize that somebody deserves punishment, we should fear. For all the times that we've not recognized in the moments when we deserve punishment. And rather than have to tally up all those times and hope we didn't miss one, much better to just be merciful in our heart towards people that may well have it coming. But we've all got it coming. And so what we have to hope that is coming for us is companionship with the saints, a likeness to the saints, and being able to be with them in their company and not feel ashamed. Which is something that Saint Nectarios has achieved, and all of these other faces on the wall that we've grown used to. Sometimes it would be good to try to maybe identify one that we're not so familiar with and get to learn about that person. Why is that person on the wall in the church? At one point in time, that person was not at all different from anyone in this room. And they may never have been different from anyone in this room. That's my hope, because I hope that all of us will end up on the walls up here someday. The mercy of God through the teaching of the Beatitudes, the law of God, that we can attain salvation. Despite the difficulties, despite the times that this is a beautiful thing. We can be angry, we can be in a bad mood, we can not feel like it, we can, all sorts of any other version of that. But the Lord has provided us a great mercy in the regularity of services, in the ease of His commandments. The lightness of them. What the world wants from us, what the world offers to us seems sweet, but what it does is it really ties us down, really makes us heavy, and makes us want more and more things and be afraid that man, maybe I'm going to die before that video game comes out. I've been waiting for it for so long. This is a thought I've had. I'm not making that up to make fun of somebody. The same might be some, I don't want to miss my favorite director's greatest work. When is he going to, it's been 3 years since he made that. I hope I live to see, and you always see these stories. I mean, you might say my mind's addled with these things. It's true, but stories about like terminally ill patient gets to play 5 minutes of Elder Scrolls 6. It's like, oh, what a treat. That terminally ill person no longer cared about Elder Scrolls 6 the moment that he crossed over. And that's really hard. That's hard for me to even grasp. I say it, I know it's true, but it's almost depressing. That's the weight of the world. Because it's like, I know for a fact I'm not going to care about any of these things, and yet somehow that makes part of me sad. Like, I wish I could go to heaven and have video games still matter. But the truth is, we have to shine the light of the gospel on all those things that we love. And understand that at their absolute best, they're no more than symbolic of what we actually are yearning for and have never found. But we can begin to find it when we choose to be merciful. That's what the demons are going to put, a hard, opaque wall between our earthly sight and what lays beyond it. Beyond that wall that they put up. It's a wall that blocks us from being able to see and understand more easily.
I'm giving it to you.
That through mercy is joy. Through mercy is the ability to smile like our dear spiritual father, Father John, who just is always an inveterate sort of cynic and scoffer that I knew when he met Father John Townsend. Later he said to me, he made my week. Just from being in the room with him. He didn't even talk about God with him or anything. Just being around him. This is the kind of person that we all should want to be, to where just being in a room with him and having 10 minutes conversation makes somebody's week. So, this is what it means to, this is one of the ways that sainthood is manifest. So let's give thanks to God for the gift of all the saints that we've known in this life, and all of the saints that we've received lessons from, and blessings and intercessions from. And one of those is for our parish, most certainly, and especially Saint Nectarios in recent days, and we that's why we're doing this service for him, and it's had already a ripple effect that we probably don't even know what's to come as a result of it. But that's the nature of our faith. Amen. The blessing of the Lord be upon you through his grace and love for mankind, always now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Glory to you, Christ, God, glory to thee.
Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Lord have mercy, Lord have